Hi, it's Dan from EUJUICERS.CZ, and in this video I'm going to be demonstrating the professional citrus juicers from Omega. This is the C12 and this is the C22. Now, who are these designed for? They call them the professional citrus juicers, so they're kind of aimed at the juice bars, restaurants, things like that, but they're also designed for home use, especially the 12 model here. And these are designed to do one thing and to do one thing very well, and that's to juice citrus. Now, I've said before in other videos, any juicer can juice citrus. That's the easiest thing to juice. So why would you want a dedicated citrus juicer? Well, the main thing is the quality of the juice you'll get from it. Juicing using this kind of method is going to give you a clearer juice, a sweeter juice, because it's not pressing all those fibers that you would get in a auger-driven juicer, for example. Let me talk about some of the differences between these two models. Again, the 12 may be aimed a little more at the home. It's a lot lighter. This thing weighs about 3 kilos, 3.5 kilos. And the 22, this is a monster. This guy's a beast. It's over 10 kilos. The motors are different. This one runs, the smaller one, at 150 RPM. The 22 over here runs at 1800 RPM. So this is going to pump out a lot of juice really fast. Now, there's a lot of similarities design-wise. For example, they both come with 3 different sizes of juicing cones. These just slide right on. They've got a metal insert here, so they are very durable. They're not going to wear down on the inside. And you've got the little one for things like lemons, limes, if you're juicing some of that. Medium-sized one for oranges, maybe bigger tangerines. And then the big guy for grapefruit or real big oranges, blood oranges, things like that. Otherwise, the construction, obviously the big boy's a lot more solid. It's made from aluminum with a chrome coating here. This one's made from plastic. And function-wise, you've got an on-off switch on either side. This one does have a protective plastic cover here because, again, it's designed for more commercial use. They both have splash guards, so you're not going to have the juice shooting back at you. Maybe not so important on this because it's running slowly, but crucial on a juicer that's running at 1800 RPM. So that's just a quick look at the differences. What I'm going to do now is cut up some of this fruit, and we're going to compare them. And later on, what I want to do is pull out a horizontal juicer just to compare some orange juice. Let's see if there really is a difference in the clarity and in the taste. Before I juice the oranges, I want to disassemble both units. So you can see one of the big advantages of citrus presses are their simplicity. There's very few parts involved here, which also makes cleaning pretty easily. Identical top units, except for the size. What you've got here is a splash guard, which, like I said, will be important when you've got something running so quickly on this model. Then you've got the cone. As I said before, there's 3 sizes. There's a strainer. These are stainless steel. And then there's the bowl, which is also stainless steel. And that's it. So it makes cleanup very simple. Same thing here. I'll show you real quick. Little splash guard, the cone, the strainer, and the bowl. One thing I'd like to show you is the way the shaft rotates here. You might expect this thing to be perfectly centered, but Omega has it so it's slightly offset. When I turn it on, you'll see. And what that's going to do is move it not just in a rotation, but also laterally a bit. So you're going to get a little better juice extraction. Runs pretty quietly there, but you can see here it's going just back and forth a slight amount. This one, maybe a little bit too. Again, this is running at only 150 RPM, so it's not so noticeable. This one's also a little louder. This one's a little more silent. So I'm going to put these back together, and I'm going to start juicing the oranges. And I want to use, for these guys, I'll start with the medium. They're small oranges, so I might want the small. And I'll start with the C12. Another advantage with these, of course, is you're in complete control. There are some presses similar to the citrus presses that have a cap and a handle that you can pull down, which might give you a little more force, but it gives you a lot less control. You don't have that feel, and it's another step, lining it up in there. These are a lot more simple. So I'll start with here. And it just takes a little steady force. It's going to have to fill up a bit in there before it starts coming out. But I don't know if you can see, it's cleared out that orange completely. We've got a couple more going. And now you see the juice starting to come out there. You could also do it without the splash guard. It's probably what I would do at home, because nothing's kicking back at all. Give that a shot. And again, with a model like this, you're going to get some pulp, smaller bits. The strainer will keep some out, but personally I feel that improves the quality of the juice. I don't want to overfill my glass here, so I'm going to switch over to the 22 unit here. I'm going to need a few more oranges, so I'll put these peels aside. Chop up a few more of these guys. So that went real well. There's a fair amount of pulp still in here. Obviously the strainer's doing its job. And the 22 unit should run a lot faster. I think this will give me enough. I'm going to use the pitcher. Yeah. That's really fast. Definitely want the splash guard. I see why they included such a big unit. You want to be careful too. This is going fast. There's no metal. If you hit your finger on it, it's not going to feel good, but it's not going to hurt you. Or maybe we'll see. It's just eating through these oranges. I can see why this would be great for a commercial juice bar for sure. And Omega certified this unit for continuous operation. There's no cooling down period. You can have this thing running constantly. I'm going to need to cut some more oranges because it's going so fast. Again, here's one big advantage compared to a horizontal. You're not having to peel all these citrus. You just slice them in half and they're ready to go. Should give me plenty of juice. Down to my last orange. So you can see that went through a lot of oranges really quickly. Let me pour that out here into a glass. Quality should be similar. There might be a bit more pulp in this guy because of that high speed that it's processing it. What I want to do next is chop up some of these others. I think I'll do them on the home unit, and then at the end what I'd like to do is compare grapefruit on this Model 12 and also on an Omega horizontal, just to see the differences in yield, clarity of juice, maybe even flavor. So I'm going to clean this up and start chopping. What I'm going to do next is use the small cone, the smallest setting, on some little citrus. In this case, some limes, lemons, and some mandarins. Now, I can't imagine anyone's wanting to drink a full glass of lemon juice. I don't know, maybe someone does with a little sugar in it. But at least I can see how well it will do with these smaller things. I'm not sure how the tangerines will do, because these ones with leaves have a loose peel. They're designed to be peeled, and I'm not sure how they'll do. I noticed when I did the oranges, it took a few oranges until I saw the juice coming out. And I think what it is it has to build up to a certain threshold, and then it starts pouring. And what I've learned is at the end, when you take this off, you can lift it forward and get a little more juice out of it that way. This is plenty of lemon juice. What was this? About 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lemons. Give you enough lemon juice, especially if you're using it for cooking, to last a long time. And what I want to try to do here is tilt this forward, because I noticed, yep, see that? Get a lot more juice at the end, because this is slightly elevated. Yeah, nice clear juice there. What I want to do next is some limes, and I'm not going to bother cleaning it out. There's very little pulp in there, but I am going to take off this splash guard. So far, I haven't really seen a need for it because, again, it's running 150 RPM. The 22, the big commercial model, for sure, leave that thing on, or you're going to get juice up in your face. This guy, also for the camera, you can see things better with it out of the way. Oh, I should put a glass here, shouldn't I? Yeah. Fortunately, there's a small amount that'll build up before it starts pouring out. I really like the color of that lemon juice. That's a nice, bright yellow. And like I said, it's got to build up a little before it starts coming out. Plus, limes are small. You're not going to get much juice out of each lime. But a little bit of lime juice goes a long way. I love lime juice for cooking. We do a lot of Tex-Mex kind of things, fajitas, salsa, things like that. And limes are a staple. So we always have limes in our house. going to cut a few more of these limes. Because limes are tiny, so you're not going to get a ton of juice out of them just due to the small size. That's plenty of lime juice. Especially considering at the end when I tilt it forward, there should be some more coming out. Let's see. Yep. I don't want to overflow that glass. Yeah, it looks nice. So what I want to wrap it up with, before I get to the grapefruit, are these tangerines. Again, I'm using the small cone. Yeah, they're going okay. Actually, they're going fine. These things have a lot more pulp because they're soft, these tangerines, so there's a lot of pulp building up in here. It's filtering it out. What I'd probably normally do at this point is scoop out some of this pulp just to speed up the process. You know, it's going to get in there, block the little slots where the juice is coming through. Yeah, I'm going to try to stir up this pulp just a bit. Now, I've done so many lemons, limes, and especially these tangerines. Yeah, you see, that's getting it all out. And it's simple enough. I could just pop this thing off and toss the pulp if I needed to. But that kind of got all I needed. Do I have any left now? Go ahead and tilt it forward here. I don't want to overflow the glass. So in that case, if you've got something that pulpy, I would probably take out the strainer, pops right out, rinse it off real quick. But again, that's going to be a nice sweet juice because it's not getting all those fibers. They're all in here. What I want to do next are these grapefruit, but I want to pull out a horizontal juicer, in this case the Sana 707, and compare the yield, the quality, and all that. So let me clean up here, and then we'll do a little comparison with some grapefruit. So the last thing I want to juice are some grapefruit, and one thing I'd like to mention, I'm going to compare it with auger-driven juicer. This is a Sana 707 horizontal, but we could be talking about a vertical, even a twin-gear juicer. I'm talking about the principle of a auger-driven juicer that is pressing everything in through a tiny little screen, whereas here it's spinning and it's going through these bigger slots here, much bigger than the screen in an auger-driven juicer. So the advantage of something like this is going to be maybe a few things. First of all, it's simple, it's fast, easy to set up. Preparation of the fruit's huge. You don't have to peel. This took forever to cut and peel these grapefruit. These you slice in half. Also the cleanup, as we'll see in a moment when I clean it up. This is super fast, easy to clean. Auger-driven juicers are fairly easy too, but I'd say this takes the cake there. And the one thing I'm curious about is the taste of the juice, maybe the yield if that's important to you. This should yield a little more, and this should give a clearer juice because it's straining it through those tiny little holes through the fine screen. This should give probably a sweeter juice because you're not getting all those pulpy bits, the white parts that we'll see on there. And yield-wise, maybe a little more out of here, like I said. So I want to start with the Omega 12. I'm using the big cone because it's going to fit this grapefruit much better. I already see bits of pulp in there, which can be good or bad. I personally prefer pulp. Yeah, that ate it right up. I don't know if you can see that there. It's completely eaten all that pulp out of there. Now, because these grapefruit are so big, I sometimes use both my hands. That way it's going to reach in and get every last bit of the inside. And again, once this is done, I'll tilt it forward, get the last of it, just to get an accurate measurement of how much juice is there. There's a lot of pulp in here. You see I'm getting a lot more juice. I'm going to stir it around a bit. Might even get some more. Just separating the juice from the fibers here. Looks like it's half a liter, just under 500 milliliters, maybe about 470 or so. I want to do the same thing now with the vertical. Again, the prep was a lot longer here. The process, of course, should be pretty simple. Just feeding them in, pressing them down. I can already see this juice is a lot clearer, much less pulp coming through. Just looking at it, I don't see a big gain in yield on the auger driven. But that's it for these guys. I still have a few drips coming in, but it looks like, well, about half a liter, so maybe a tiny bit more. How about I pour it into some glasses? And I might get a better indication if these glasses are big enough to not overflow. Okay, it filled that basically to the top. So theoretically, there should be a tiny bit left of this one. And I can see pouring it, there is a bit more clarity. Yeah. Okay, so what, 5 milliliters maybe more. And I'm just looking at it. There's not much difference. Maybe a bit more pulp I can see in there. Given time, it'll separate. I'll get a better indication of that. So I want to straighten up the mess I created here, and then I'll quickly show you how to clean one of these. It's real simple. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to clean one of these juicers. They both clean the same. As you've seen before, they're both identical parts on top, just the size is different. So again, there's just 3 parts. I'm going to rinse them out in a sink here. You've got the cone. Now here from the strainer, I would dump this direct into the garbage, but I also have a strainer in my sink here, so I'll clean it up after. You're just going to rinse these parts out. And again, since they're stainless steel, it's really fast and easy. And with citrus, it's not like you've got oils or peanuts or something like that that you might in other juicers or multi-purpose machines. Citrus cleans up real easy, all that acid in there. Want to get inside there, make sure there's nothing in that stainless steel liner, and that's it. Ready to go, all clean. So that's a look at Omega's line of professional citrus juicers, and I want to tell you, between takes, I did try some of these. This one came from the horizontal, this came from this guy here, the C12, and I'm not a fan of grapefruit juice. I don't like it, it's too bitter. And I did notice this was a little sweeter. This one was like getting hit by a freight train. It's just, oh, that bitterness. This one had more pulp, had a little more sweetness. I could tolerate that one a little more. I'd probably still put some sugar or honey because I'm that kind of person. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. These are both great units for what they're supposed to do. They're single-purpose units, juice, citrus, and they do a really good job at that. I would say this would definitely lend itself more to a commercial application, a juice bar or something. Or if you've got the means and you want a big, heavy unit, this will juice all the orange juice you want really fast. But this one did just fine. If you like a lot of citrus juice, a lot of orange juice, I'd say did quite a good job. So hope you enjoyed watching this. I enjoyed checking out these new machines, and see you next time. If you want any more information, check us out, www.EUJUICERS.com. Thanks for watching. When you do that, when you put it back in and it slips out of your fingers, just shut it off. Down to my last orange.